good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. So today we're going to be doing a reaction video to one of TrueUnderDawgGaming's new YouTube videos, which is called The Biggest Lie Ever Told with regards to Mortal Kombat 1. And I watched it in its entirety and I wanted to make some comments about it and some comments about how I feel towards how he's presenting his videos. Now again, I just want to stress that this is not a hate video towards the guy. I don't know the guy, I've never spoken to him. I'm merely reacting to his video because I do feel like his videos are somewhat disingenuous, and obviously I know he has his fans and I know that I have my detractors, but this is just my opinion on it, and it's because of the state of Mortal Kombat 1 right now and the problems that it's facing that I think his videos might do more harm than good. I don't want to really say harm, it's a bit of a strong word, but it feels like something is going on with this guy and his YouTube channel. Like, I don't want to make any inflammatory remarks about him, but the video to me came across like he was put up to it, and I'm gonna go over why, and I'm gonna go over why I took issue with it, so stick around for that. Also, as always guys, there's gonna be some codes in here of some Xbox Game Passes that I've got, so look out for them. And if you are one of the lucky people that manages to get one, let me know, send me a message on Discord, Instagram or Twitter.
Mortal Kombat 1 is doing really poorly on PC, especially when compared to other modern fighting games. However, when it comes to consoles, it was difficult to find information on the exact number of players. I have no idea why that is. Thankfully, after doing a lot of digging, I was able to uncover some information on Mortal Kombat 1. And believe it or not, this game is actually listed in the top 100 games for this month alone. Or in other words, during the month of February, Mortal Kombat 1 is the top 100 most played game in the world right now.
Now what I don't understand is, why is he talking about this if not for shilling for Mortal Kombat? Like, I'm a bit confused. The game is in a sorry state, whether it has players or not. It doesn't matter if there's a million people playing the game. The game is in a really poor state. When people say it's dying, they're not just referring to how many people are playing the game. They're referring to everything surrounding this game. Support from WB and Warner Brothers, communication from WB and Warner Brothers, the fact that the game doesn't really function properly, the fact that it's taken forever to get basic fixes, the fact that the game still doesn't have crossplay, the fact that there are delays. It's not just about player base when we talk about the game dying. But I'm going to let him get onto that because I do feel like he misses out some information here, which I'm going to give a bit more context to.
And of course, keep in mind that this information is about consoles, and it's always been theorized that most Mortal Kombat players are on console and not PC, but man, I did not know the disparity was this great. For a friendly reminder, here's the amount of players on PC, and here's the amount of players on console right now. That is wild.
Okay, that is not the amount of people on console right now. That is the average daily players. When you work out averages, they can fluctuate quite heavily up or down based on how many people are playing on the day. Now 219,000, give or take, is still a good number, but he's missing a bit of context here. But to be fair to him, I'm going to let him say what he has to say, and when it gets to the part where he starts missing things out or not referencing them, then I will go over it.
And for another fun fact, Mortal Kombat 11 is also still doing really well. That game is alive and kicking with its player base, because on this same website, Mortal Kombat 11 is also listed on the top 100 list, which once again means that Mortal Kombat 11 is one of the top 100 games played in this month alone, which is not too bad for a game that came out over 3 years ago. And many of you watching might be wondering why I even bring up Mortal Kombat 11 at all. Well, the main reason why is because many players pointed out that Mortal Kombat 11 actually has more players on Steam than Mortal Kombat 1 right now. Or in other words, when it comes to PC players, more people are playing Mortal Kombat 11 than Mortal Kombat 1. And a lot of people online took this information and used it to deduce that Mortal Kombat 1 is dying because the previous game, Mortal Kombat 11, is actually getting more attention than Mortal Kombat 1, at least when it comes to PC players.
Yes, one of the reasons that Mortal Kombat 11 is getting a lot of attention right now is that people are extremely frustrated with Mortal Kombat 1, and the Mortal Kombat diehards don't really have anywhere else to go. They don't have anywhere to go to get their fix of Mortal Kombat other than the previous game. Now, I would advise them to go back to MK9 or MK10, but I don't really know how those games function online. I'd even say the Injustice games are more fun than Mortal Kombat 1. That's just my opinion. I know some people like the gameplay of Mortal Kombat 1, I'm not one of those people, but it's not a good sign when people are returning to the game that was being shit on for like 3 years. And make no mistake people, Mortal Kombat 11, when it was going on, was getting shit on. It might look like a better game now because we have this steaming pile of crap in front of us, but it's not. Mortal Kombat 11 does not deserve any roses. Just because it might be more enjoyable to play than MK1, maybe it doesn't have as many glitches and maybe it's a more full package, does not mean that it's suddenly a good game. Just because people have returned to that doesn't mean that MK11 is a good game. What it means is MK1 is just that bad.
However, once again, I did a bit of digging. I did my own research, and it turns out that Mortal Kombat 11 is succeeding for two main reasons. Reason number one, the game went on a massive sale recently. We're talking next to free on consoles and PC. And of course, when a game is next to free like that, a bunch of people are going to buy it and start playing it immediately. So with that in mind, it makes sense why Mortal Kombat 11 is so popular right now, averaging around 3,000 players every day, which is pretty good for a 3-year-old game.
How much do you guys want to bet that if Tekken 7 goes on sale, you are not going to see numbers suddenly prop up for Tekken 7 to the rate that they have for Mortal Kombat 11? As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that even if they make Tekken 7 free, the numbers will come nowhere close to what Tekken 8's numbers are. They won't even be a fraction of it. The reason that Mortal Kombat 11 is on a heavy discount is A, because everybody had jumped off it and it was time to capitalize on it, and B, because it is actually an alternative to Mortal Kombat 1, because that is how bad and unreliable Mortal Kombat 1. Of course, when you make a game more cheaper, you're going to have people jump on, but the amount of people playing Mortal Kombat 1 right now, and I'm going to show you the numbers right now, versus the amount of people playing Mortal Kombat 11 does not make sense. The only way that you can make sense of it, unfortunately, is that the player base is very, very unhappy with the present product.
However, on top of all that information, believe it or not, Mortal Kombat 11 has stayed popular for like a while. It's never had a severe lack of players on it. And if you don't believe me, once again, here's the Steam charts. It shows that pretty consistently players have been logging on and playing Mortal Kombat 11 online. And as mentioned earlier, Mortal Kombat 11 is on the top 100 games played this month. So yeah, people have never stopped playing this game, but even more people are playing it now that it went on sale. So that's why its numbers are so high, even eclipsing Mortal Kombat 1.
The numbers have not been high for Mortal Kombat 11. 2,000 people playing is not a high number. Now granted, the game's lifespan has ended, but that's not a high number. I don't know why he would think that is. I'm pretty sure I've seen other fighting games with higher numbers than that. But even then, for as much hate as Mortal Kombat 11 got, I don't think it received as much hate as Mortal Kombat 1 is getting. Like, this is much, much higher than anything I've seen before. So I imagine the numbers were consistently higher than Mortal Kombat 1, but high to what degree, I'm not actually too sure. It might have been a little bit better, especially because the reputation of Mortal Kombat wasn't completely in the toilet with 11. It was with a lot of the competitive players and a lot of YouTubers, but I think the casual base still kind of liked Mortal Kombat 11, but it's no surprise that it's changed dramatically with Mortal Kombat 1.
Which is honestly crazy because that's way more than Street Fighter 5 can say. That game is deader than dead. We're talking fallen off a cliff. That game is lucky to get 300 players a day. Or in other words, it looks like everybody made the switch to Street Fighter 6, and there's two ways to look at that information. You could argue that Street Fighter 6 is simply that amazing of a game, so nobody is going to keep playing Street Fighter 5 because Street Fighter 6 is simply that amazing. And as for Mortal Kombat 1, it's simply not that great, so people are still playing Mortal Kombat 11 because it's also a really good game, and this has caused the fan base to split and kind of divide amongst itself.
The reason that people are not playing Street Fighter 5 and playing Street Fighter 6 is because Street Fighter 6 is a product that people can be happy with. There are a lot of problems with Street Fighter 6. Yes, there are microtransactions issues, there's the issue of balance or lack of balance updates, but all in all, people have unanimously agreed that Street Fighter 6 is better than Street Fighter 5, and the same can't be said for Mortal Kombat. The community is very, very split. Now, like I said, you can go back and check the archives of a lot of popular YouTubers. Don't just look through my content. A lot of people hated Mortal Kombat 11 and they much preferred Mortal Kombat 10. And for as broken of a mess as Mortal Kombat 10 was, it was still a fun game. Mortal Kombat 11 was not well received by a lot of people that you would find playing on Steam or playing on Twitch. The only reason that the numbers are now comparable is because the current product is even worse. A good example of this, and a good example of what you're seeing right now, is when Street Fighter 5 came out, a lot of people were unhappy about it. And I'm sure a lot of you remember, because a lot of you that come to my channel are part of the FGC or are invested in fighting games. You will remember that the community was split and a lot of people stayed on Street Fighter 4. A lot of the prominent names that were really making waves in Street Fighter 4 never transferred over to Street Fighter 5. Now eventually Street Fighter 5 did grow to have the bigger player base. It was the one that was featured at EVOs, but there was a while there. in the first year, maybe even in the second year, where people did not want to move over because Street Fighter 5 was not a good product. And that is exactly what we're seeing with Mortal Kombat 1.
Instead of every player making the switch to Mortal Kombat 1, a lot of them stayed on Mortal Kombat 11 or even went back to Mortal Kombat 11 because they find that game more fun. That's one way to perceive this information. Or you could argue that Mortal Kombat 11 is simply a great game in its own right. And then on top of that, it appeals to a different type of player. It's strictly 1v1, the environment is interactable, you can customize your moveset. A lot of these gameplay elements might be more appealing to certain Mortal Kombat players. And on the flip side, Mortal Kombat 1 is more of a competitive game. Stuff is always happening, there's more characters on screen at once, and overall the game is just more active. Something is happening all the time, there's never really a chance to breathe, so it scratches that high-octane, aggressive gameplay itch.
You know, it's like some people like to rewrite history. Mortal Kombat 11, for the 100th time, Mortal Kombat 11 was not riding the wave of people saying it was a good game. For a very, very long time, that game was getting shit on. It's just now we have a bigger pile of shit. I've said it 100 times. It's like people are forgetting or they have amnesia. So many people were hating on Mortal Kombat 11, basically from week 1. What I said about Mortal Kombat 11 on week 1 is what happened by the end of the game's lifespan. Tom Brady said it best. Because they stripped everything down, how it played in the first week, first month, first year is basically how it played out for the rest of the game's lifespan. It is not like Tekken, where you can go to different regions and learn different styles, and the gameplay develops over the years and we see new metas arising, we see characters coming up and down the tier list. It doesn't have that level of nuance or complexity, and so Mortal Kombat 11 really did get shot on a lot. I don't know what is going on about here, but it's not that people like Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, there's definitely people that do like it. It did sell well, but amongst the people that watch his videos, the people that have subscribed to his channel, amongst the people that are tuned into what's going on, Mortal Kombat 11 was not positively received.
So once again, that could explain why the Mortal Kombat players are still on MK11 instead of the current Mortal Kombat game, whereas for Street Fighter players, they all made the switch to Street Fighter 6. However, for me personally, I think the answer is a lot more simple and straightforward than that. Street Fighter 6 was also available on the PS4, and not exclusive to the PS5 like Mortal Kombat 1 was. For some reason, you can't buy Mortal Kombat 1 on a previous generation console. Instead, you have to buy it on PS5, Xbox Series X, or PC. The reality is, many gamers have not bought the next generation consoles because a lot of new games still come out on the previous generation consoles, and let's be real, the new consoles are very expensive. It's a big investment, and there's still not a ton of exclusive games on these new consoles.
See, all of that would have been fine if Tekken 8 did not exist. Tekken 8 is not on the previous gen consoles. Tekken 8 is also not on the Switch. Tekken 8 can only be purchased on the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X or S, and the PC. You can't get it on the previous generation consoles and you can't get it on the Switch. So, if what he's saying is to be believed because he's using Street Fighter as a reference, the same should have been said for Tekken. Unfortunately, we've seen the sales now with Tekken, and we can see and understand that this is not the case. Previous generation consoles should not have made as much of a difference as they are right now to Mortal Kombat. Using Street Fighter and not referencing Tekken is a scapegoat here. Tekken, unfortunately, puts his theory to bed.
But yeah, you get the idea, and I'm sure a lot of this comes off as copium, and I can certainly understand that perspective, but once again, I'm just giving you the numbers here. And after doing a bit more digging online, a lot more Googling, I discovered that Mortal Kombat 1 has actually seen a big increase in players on console. And I do mean a big amount of players. We're talking like a 1/4 increase. And that information alone definitely implies that players are coming back to the game, slowly but surely, which does make sense because a lot of the bugs and glitches have finally been fixed. And on top of that, look at how many people are playing.
Okay, now this is my biggest point of contention with regards to his video, and this is where I'm going to spend most of the time breaking down why this is basically, I don't want to say that he's lying, but he's definitely missing out information here. Now, Mortal Kombat has received a spike in players, but we have to take a look at what happened to it, and we're going to take a look at the other fighting games on the market right now. Now, if we go to the website that he used, which is activeplayer.io, and you search up Mortal Kombat 1, you can see what the daily players are like. So if we look at today, for example, the screenshot I'm going to put up for you today is online players is 5,932 as of this recording. The active players for the month were 812,039. So in the last 30 days, it says that Mortal Kombat has gained 160,296 players. So if we look at this chart over here, you can see that in September, Mortal Kombat had an average monthly player base of 1,654,778. And that's very, very high. That's very impressive, right? So that's when the game has come out, basically. And then you take a look at the month following that, and Mortal Kombat lost 404,333 players. That is an insane drop-off for the first month. Then you go to the second month, and they've lost another 46,392 players. And then you go into December, they lose 392,015 players. And then you go to January, and this is where his numbers get a bit funny. And this is where the website's numbers don't really make sense to me. So it says that it lost 160,296 players. So from the point of release up until January, it has lost over 1 million players, right? Just over 1 million players. But then in the last 30 days, it has gained the exact same amounts of players that it lost. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Now, I don't know where the accurate number is, and it might be because the month hasn't finished. There could be a possibility that Mortal Kombat has gained some players this month because apparently they have fixed some issues, and there is talks of Peacemaker coming out very soon. But to lose 160,296 and then gain the exact amount, that number doesn't seem right. So if you look at, we've seen those numbers now. Now let's go and look at Tekken 8. Tekken 8 lost 3,796 players in its first month. Now the month isn't exactly over yet, so it might be a little bit higher than that. I doubt it's going to exceed 5,000. I truly doubt that, but it might. But even then, even if it did, that is astronomically different. Let's just say for argument's sake, in its first month, Tekken 8 loses 10,000 players. Let's just say. That still pales in comparison to Mortal Kombat, which lost 404,333. See, the important numbers here are the numbers that come before the latest date, because the latest date has not got finalized numbers in it. And we can see that Mortal Kombat has lost over 1 million players. So even if it did gain 160,296 players, that is still a massive drop off. That is 840,000 people, if that number is to be believed. 840,000 people in not even a year has stopped playing your game. Now, unfortunately, the numbers are a little bit weird on this website for Street Fighter 6, so I'm not going to look into them too much, although we know that Street Fighter's numbers are very, very high, so there's not much to worry about on there. So if we just focus on Tekken and we focus on Mortal Kombat, it's astronomically different. It's night and day. So the idea that he's saying that Mortal Kombat 1 is not dead or is not dying is not true. Mortal Kombat 1 is very much dying. To lose 404,000 players in your first month, to then go on to lose basically 1 million players up to this date is insane. The game is 100% on life support. You are kidding yourself if you think otherwise.
Look at this number, it is massive. I understand that Mortal Kombat 1 isn't doing fantastic right now, but even so, that's a really big number that should not be ignored. Now more than ever, I am convinced that most Mortal Kombat 1 players are on console and not PC, which helps explain why the numbers are so low on the Steam chart. But then on top of that, I don't know about any of you guys watching, I can only speak for myself, but I've never had any trouble finding a match in Mortal Kombat 1. It's like a minute at most and then bam, I get a match. I never have to wait. So in my opinion, that's not a dead game. Now, of course, could Mortal Kombat 1 be in a better spot? Yeah, absolutely. But with that being said, there's a ton of stuff coming to Mortal Kombat 1. We've got Peacemaker, crossplay, a new season of Invasions, new free skins, new Combat League, all that awesome stuff. And on top of that, for tomorrow's video, I've learned some secret stuff that's coming to Mortal Kombat 1. And let's just say, y'all are gonna get really excited. You're not ready for this. I had no clue that Mortal Kombat 1 was going to get this feature.
Well, either he's about to talk about leaks, or he actually has some inside information which would raise some more questions. Either way, this is a lot of cope, unfortunately. Now, I do find this video a little bit weird. The premise of this video is to convince you the game is not dying, but to what end? What end I do not understand. And he says that Mortal Kombat 1's getting all these things, new Combat League season, Peacemaker, and he even says Invasions as if he's unaware that everybody and their mothers hates Invasions. Invasions is the worst pile of garbage that I've ever seen in my life, and there's no way that True Underdog actually likes it. Nobody likes Invasions. I have not seen a single person say they actually enjoyed Invasions. It's a dogshit mode. It should be abandoned. It is laughable they even thought that it was acceptable to put that in a game. I have no idea why this guy is riding this hard for Mortal Kombat. It does raise some questions. The title of his video is The Biggest Lie Ever Told, but the biggest lie that was told was the lies that were told to the consumer, and it's not one lie, it's multiple lies. This is not the biggest lie, True Underdog. The biggest lie really is them sitting on that couch and feeding us bullshit. It's also disingenuous for you to title your videos that way. This does come across as clickbait. You know this isn't the biggest lie, and I know it's not the biggest lie. The numbers that you presented, although you did put the entire thing on the screen, you didn't talk about the gigantic drop-offs, and you also didn't talk about the fact that the exact same number of people that left in January came back in January, which would tell me that maybe the numbers are a little bit skewed and we don't know exactly how many have come back for February. I just don't really understand why you would release a video like this other than being told to tell people that the game doesn't look as bad as it does. It seems like a pointless video, either to farm views through clickbait or because you're being told to do it. Now, I'm speculating. I'm not saying that True Underdog is on payroll. I have no insider information whatsoever. It's just a bit peculiar that you know that the consumers were lied to with this game. We were literally lied to. We weren't just sold a bad game that they believed was good. They literally lied about things. They lied about the 24th character. They misrepresented how good the game was going to work online. They didn't launch it with crossplay. They had it online all the time. They said all these things, and they said they made all these changes for Mortal Kombat 1, and they gave us a really bad experience. The biggest lie ever told was them making out that they made a coherent fighting game. Anyways guys, that's all I really wanted to say on this video. It just struck me as really weird that you would release a video like this when this is not something that needs to be spoken about with Mortal Kombat. And also the context in which was spoken about was quite disingenuous given the fact that we could see the numbers on the screen, and losing 404,000 players in your first month is insane. But you know, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. I just found it extremely odd. I don't want to say that anybody is on the contract if I haven't seen the contract. It's not adding up to me. So anyways guys, have a good one, take care, and peace.